What's up, guys? It's CJ going live, and we are here for the season finale of season 5 of Real Housewives of Potomac. So, I just kind of want to talk about this episode a little bit and kind of give my thoughts about it. I won't really go too much into depth about what I think about the episode. I guess we'll just go ahead and kind of talk play by play on what happened. And I guess as my thoughts come along, then we'll just kind of discuss. This is my first time going live, so this is a little weird. I know the camera may look a little weird, but there's a lot going on in my house right now, and this is the only time that I can record. And I did want to kind of talk about this episode. So let's go ahead and get started. Now, it starts with Robin. She's planning, her and Juan, they're planning like a winter wonderland. I guess they throw a holiday party every year for their family and friends. And so they're doing the same this year. And the theme, I guess, is winter wonderland. I don't know what the thing was, but they're at this really nice spot and it's called Abigail's, and it looks really, really elegant. It's high class, and they tell the planner or the person, I guess the owner or manager, that they want open bar, the food, they want to do the whole nine. And they said that they wanted it for like 50 people. They were going to invite their close family and friends, so they were all getting together for that event. And of course, Robin let us know that this will be minus Monique because Monique has pretty much been exiled at this point. So they're out, they have outed her from this group. Now we then go to Monique, who also seems to be seeking counseling or therapy after this fight that happened at the beginning of the season, and we have drug all the way to the finale. So she's talking to a therapist, and the therapist just kind of, she tells her that she has kind of been ousted by the ladies, like they have like outed her from this group, and that she has been written off, and now she seems to be in a constant state of proving herself to them that she has changed, but nobody is buying it at this point. They are not having it, and it seems like they have wanted Monique gone, and this has been the perfect opportunity to get her gone. And now she seems to be trying to claw her way back into the group, but I think that that's going to be virtually impossible at this point, because it seems like the only person or people that she really has on her side are Karen and who is it? Karen and Ashley. Yeah. So the therapist just tells her how she seems to be, longing for acceptance, and that she also encourages her to write Candace a letter. And I think that it's a little too soon to be writing a letter, especially now that the two of you are wrapped up in like legal matters at this point. There is like a court case, against you, have filed counter sued her. So I just think that that's kind of unnecessary at this point. But I do think that she does need to issue an apology. And, Candace probably should find it in her heart to issue one as well. And not necessarily for what they have done to one another, but the fact that they were friends, they seemed to be really good friends at one point. Somehow lines got blurred along the way, and they did turn into enemies. And that was very sad to see. And I don't think that they will ever be what they once were, but I do think that they should. And I've never been beat up, and I've never beat anybody up. So I don't know I can't say that they should bury the hatchet because I mean, I've never been on either side of that coin. So it's really hard for me to say on the outside looking in, but I do think that some apologies do need to go forward and they need to move forward in some way, shape, or form, whether it's together or apart. But the producer asked Monique, if she's remorseful for what happened. And Monique says that she is remorseful for what happened, but there was a but. And she says that she was not sorry for defending herself. Now, something tells me that Monique is not remorseful. Monique is not sorry for what happened. Monique is sorry for the events that occurred afterwards. I don't know. I guess she thought she had a position solidified within this group to where something like this could happen and that she would be okay. I don't think that she thought it would go as far as them just kind of getting rid of her completely. And because they have gotten rid of her completely, I think that she's sorry for that. She probably would have handled things a lot different had she known that Giselle would lead the charge to basically have these women just completely X her out. Um, she is not sorry though at all. And I mean, that's her prerogative. And so she has to deal with the consequences of that. So then we go to Ashley, and she and Michael are home with Baby Dean, and they're taking pictures of Baby Dean because it is his 5 month birthday, I guess. And so they put him in this really cute, like tuxedo onesie kind of get up. And he looks exactly like Michael. He just looks like a baby Michael. And he's on the little mat with the 5 month thing. And it was a cute enough little scene, but she tells us that things are much better with she and Michael, I guess after Mom and Uncle Lump confronted him about what he did to her. And she basically, and Ashley always tries to make it seem like she and Michael are doing great. And then something happens and it leads us to believe that they are not doing great, but we'll get into that later. The producer, I mean, not the producer. I'm looking at the wrong thing. But anyway, she tells Michael that, Juan is preparing, he's, preparing to propose to Robin at their holiday party. And they're kind of having small talk. And then she also lets him know that they're, I think that she tells him that Candace is singing there or something, she mentions Candace, and Michael just further she talks about the wig shift party. And Michael is just like, oh, y'all give Candace another opportunity to play victim because he's still not here for Candace after the whole, I guess, booty grabbing fiasco that went on last season. And, Candace was very vocal about it. So Michael still has beef with Candace. And we clearly see that in this episode. And we definitely see it later on. But when she tells him that Juan is, supposed to propose to Robin at the event, he kind of says something and he's just like, oh, well, I know something that perhaps, that may not be true. And because I know some things or something. He leads on that he knows something that we don't know or that, the group doesn't know, and it could affect Robin and Juan's relationship. That's kind of what I got from it. And he never tells us what it is or what this damaging information is. I think Michael just secretly is in love with Juan and he doesn't want it to happen. But anyway, we go to Candace and we see Candace and her mom. They're going over to the nail salon. I guess they're getting fill-ins, and she just kind of tells us that, and we see that her mom has been very supportive of her, this season, especially after the altercation between, Candace and Monique. So her mom is definitely a different person this season, and it could have a lot to do with them working on their relationship. And they don't talk about the incident while they're at the nail salon, but instead they kind of shift gears a little bit because we've learned that Candace is now wanting to explore the possibility of motherhood. And her mom is jokingly, telling her that she wants to, she'll retire and move in with them and take care of the kids. And, that'll be her role. And Candace is like, no, I got other siblings that you can go and live with and help them with their kids. But Candace wouldn't be for that. But it was a cute enough scene. Um, but we go to Karen, and Karen is really, her La Dame perfume line, I guess, is really taking off. I've never smelled it. I don't know if anybody else has smelled it, but she's getting ready to go to HSN to promote her perfume. And so she's really excited about that. Ray can't go, but he wishes her well. And she just tells us that she's got some proof, I guess, because we're believing from what we saw last episode that she was trying to set Candace and Monique up to where they would have to meet when they came into the wig shift party at some point. But she says otherwise, and she says that she's going to show the group the messages that proves that she didn't try to get them to cross paths in any way. And I don't know why this even matters, but I guess she's going to try and prove that she is innocent and she hasn't done what the group has accused her of doing. But we then go on to Robin and Juan. Now, they are on their way to see a therapist, and they're giving us some backstory on how they came to be. And we all know from previous seasons that Robin and Juan have known each other since high school, and they got together. Her family took him in because he lost his family at a younger age, and they kind of accepted him and took him in as one of their own. And so they were married and had children, and he went to the NBA first, and then they had children. But Robin said that Juan wasn't very present, and Juan wanted to object, but he didn't really tell us how he was present. I think he just wanted her to stop talking. But anyway, she tells us that, he wasn't present, and then infidelity started, and she had gotten to the point where she didn't even care, and she just wanted to be out of the marriage. He had formed, not only physical relationships with other women, but emotional relationships as well, because he says where, Robin lacked in, I guess, that area where she was, emotionally supportive of him and whatever, but he was cheating, and Robin was over it, and she filed for divorce. They got divorced, and that was what it was. But he said, she put that wall up, and she got pretty emotional because after a while, as he continued to talk, he did acknowledge his faults, and he also acknowledged, how good of a woman that Robin has been, especially lately. And it meant a lot to her to hear him say that. And it also meant a lot to him to hear her express how proud she was of him. And that was pretty much where that therapy session ended. So then we go to Giselle, and Giselle's getting ready for this holiday party, and she's taking Kyle as her date and not Jamal. Nobody is really surprised by that, but she's not taking him, and we didn't really expect anything, anything more or less. So we go to Candace, and Candace is actually performing her remix to, I guess, the song called I See You, I guess. She's performing that at Robin's holiday party. And she was kind of warming up in the car on the way there. And she tells us, that she received a text from Karen, and she guesses like it was her attempt to kind of smooth things over from what happened at the wig shift party. But she also leads us to believe that that wasn't the original text that Karen has sent her. And I guess Karen wanted her to get there earlier initially, but Candace was running late, so she couldn't come. Had she got there when Karen originally told her, then she would have crossed paths with Monique, and only Lord knows what would have happened at that point. But anyway, it's party time, and the guests, they're starting to show up. Ashley and Giselle, or Ashley asked Giselle, she's being nosy, asked Giselle, where's Jamal? And her excuse for everything is, it's a Saturday night. He has to preach on Sunday, so he couldn't make it. Like, he doesn't have associate pastors or associate ministers at his church that can kind of, take over for him for one Sunday while he goes and spends it with his ex-wife / girlfriend, but whatever. So Michael is even asking her, where's Jamal? And she's telling him the same thing. But I think she's kind of tired of answering the same questions. And everybody knows that Jamal's not there. But I think they just kind of like to stick it to Giselle anytime that they can, asking her about her boyfriend. But they get a text from Karen, and Karen tells them that, the plane is having mechanical issues, and she was, leaving HSN, and she doesn't know if she'll make it there. If she does make it, she'll be late. And they call BS. They just think that Candace doesn't want to face the fire about the wig shift party, which I don't even know why y'all would want to talk about that at this event. But I know every event, something has got to happen. It can never, ever just be an event. There has always got to be something with this group of ladies. But we then see Wendy and Eddie. They show up and they look really nice. They're in their all white. They look like they're going, to a holiday party. They look really good. But Michael, we see him. He says he wasn't drinking. He tells them that he wasn't drinking that night. But we then, at the same token, see him knocking down Coronas. He's asking the bartender for, another Corona, which leads us to believe he has had others, if one or more prior to that. But Ashley tells Giselle that Michael knows something regarding Juan, and that he may not propose to Robin tonight. And so this automatically gets Giselle, into, oh no, I need to find out what happened mode. She's going and she's grabbing Michael, and she brought him back, and she's like, okay, you need to spill it. What do you know that we don't know, as to why Juan may not propose to Robin? And he's just kind of lollygagging and not really telling her what's up. He wouldn't tell Giselle anything anyway, because he doesn't really see it for Giselle. But I don't know if he told Ashley that to go and tell Giselle, but she went and told the loudest one in the room. So she should have known that Giselle was going to say something to him about it. And so she wanted to then get with Juan, because she knew tonight was supposed to be the night. And she asked him when he was going to do it, and he told her he was going to wing it. So hearing this information from Ashley, she now wants to get to Juan, but it's hard to get to Juan because it is their party, and he has people, in his face left and right. So he's entertaining. And so it's kind of hard to pull him away again to ask him what's going on. But we get like a quick glimpse of Charisse. She shows up. She didn't really have much to do or say this episode, but they wanted us to know that she was there. So we got a chance to see her. But now it's performance time. And so Candace, her performance, she sounded great, but the performance itself was a complete disaster. And I say that because the sound was like low, like you couldn't hear anything. And she was having to communicate with, I guess, whoever was controlling the sound. And it was just very weird. And so she was like, well, I'm going to sing it a cappella. So she started singing. And the next thing you know, like she's in the middle of the song. And then all of a sudden the music just like fires up and it ends great, but it started out horrible. But I'll I get so uncomfortable when I watch stuff like that because it's just like, oh my god, this is so cringy. I mean, mm, I hate seeing when things go wrong. I don't know why that is, but I didn't like it. Now, Robin and Juan, they address, their guests, and Robin thanks everybody for showing up and lets them know that it's an open bar and, to have fun. And Juan then uses that opportunity to get on one knee and he, gives her a tiny speech and then he proposes to her. And I mean, Wendy was like so loud. I get, how long have they known each other? Have they known each other for a long time? I don't know. But like, and I don't think they did, but I guess, that's her castmate and she was going up for her. But like she was screaming and running around, like everybody was just like running around her, grabbing her hand. And it was it was a little too much for me, but I mean, it was a happy occasion and her ring was absolutely gorgeous. It was very pretty. I loved it. They did a good job at picking that ring out. And so she says yes, and she was very, happy. Um, Not too emotional. She was smiling and she was shocked. She wasn't expecting it, but it was nice to see. So congratulations to the two of them. And Giselle, Giselle shays Michael because she was saying, she thinks that he was just hating and was just wondering if he was mad that, you know, he didn't get the proposal because he wants wine to himself, which I mean, I can't argue with that. As much as I oppose Giselle, I have to agree with her on that because we all know how much he loves him some wine. Michael loves him some wine. But anyway, Karen, as the girls were in a group, they were talking, and Giselle was letting, Sharice know that, yeah, Karen didn't show up because Karen don't want to face the heat of what she did at her event. And so she's just gonna, not show up because she tried to put her pointing to Candace, in a messed up position. And so they were talking about her, and it had to be editing, I'm sure, because as they were doing this, Karen and Ray were actually showing up to the event. They showed up, and Karen let them know, that she pushed through and made it there because that's what friends do. And Robin was shocked to see her. All the girls were shocked to see her. They had poured out some liquor to for their homie that wasn't there. They, were just doing all kinds of stuff. But anyway, she comes, and the women were happy that she was there because now they get to continue this confrontation. They're not done with Karen. They want to know why you left your own party and why you tried to set them up. It was just a bunch of stuff. And she lets them know that she had dinner plans with Ray. That's why she left. And they weren't buying that at all. So they're in there, they're having their own discussion and going, and Candace is now getting loud. Candace was getting very loud, when it came to Karen. And I mean, she was just like, she was yelling and people could hear this. And so you see, as this conversation is going on, we then kind of see Michael kind of flirting with Eddie. At this point, he was letting Eddie know he was a nice looking guy. It was getting kind of weird. But I'm like, Michael, he does not make things good for himself. He does not make himself look good when it comes to the husbands of this show. I mean, he's always got some flirty actions behind himself when it comes to them. But we now, the girls are in a heated discussion, and Candace is yelling. Michael then goes and he taps Chris on the shoulder and he tells Chris that he needs to get his wife under control. I guess because, that he hears her yelling. And Chris, who already doesn't see it from Michael, tells him that he needs to get the F out of his face. And now the two of them are going at it. And Chris pushes Michael back, like, get out of my face. And Michael just starts, oh, he touched me. He touched me. I mean, they just created this like crazy spectacle. I mean, they're getting loud and Michael's threatening to call his lawyer. He's going to press charges. And I mean, it's just crazy. So Candace then comes and gets involved, and now she's bucking up at Michael, which causes Ashley to come and buck up at her. So the two of them are into it, and now they're trying to get their husbands out of each other's face. But it was just crazy, the whole ordeal. And so Candace and Chris, they leave. I don't know if they were escorted out, but I know they were leaving. And Karen also left. So I don't think she was there anytime. But the party is still going on while they're, leaving. And then you still got Michael. He's going berserk. He is yelling and cussing and down in the group. He's calling them lowlifes and calling Chris redneck. And it's just horrible. He is just really spouting these insults. And he's back there in the production area where he is not supposed to be, but he's back there anyway. And he's yelling at them and he's telling them that he'll call his lawyer and this, that, and the third. But it was just horrible. The rest of the group were trying not to be fazed by it. They're still dancing. Robin's out on the floor, dropping it like it's hot. And, it was just a mess. But anyway, Karen embraces Candace while they were all standing outside getting ready to go. But, and Candace accepts it, but Candace isn't done with Karen. And so she starts back up again. And so they just kind of leave it where it is. And Karen and Ray leave. But at this point, I guess Candace has decided that, she regrets putting so much stock into Karen as a friend or looking to her as a mother figure. And she doesn't know what the future holds for them. But then we kind of get those updates for each housewife in the group. And Karen and Ray, they're still working on their marriage. Candace, she's determined to move forward with her life. And she and Chris, they plan to start baby making, I guess, this fall or now, I guess. But Robin and Juan, they're engaged and they're going to build a home somewhere in the DMV area. And they want an island destination wedding. I guess once Rona and everything kind of calms down, they're going to, have a wedding somewhere on an island somewhere. But Wendy, she just continues her political commentary career. And her mom doesn't want her to stop teaching. She doesn't want her to leave her professor gig, but she's still proud of her. And Giselle and Jamal's daughters, they're finally more accepting of their relationship. Jamal nor Giselle plan to move. So he's going to stay in Atlanta. She's going to stay in Potomac. And he still lives in her phone, as they said. And when they're showing this, Michael is still acting a fool. Michael is just trying to fight security. Now, you see these guys in these security vests and suits or jackets, and he's like, who are you? I mean, he is just like, he is drunk and he is acting a fool. But the party is still going on. They're just kind of showing us that monkey ain't stopping no show. And the next day, Ashley, Michael, and baby Dean, they went on vacation to the Bahamas. And then we learned that Ashley's pregnant with baby number 2, which everybody already knew. And Monique, we get a segment with her. And she tells us that the judge ruled that the fight basically was mutually consented between the two of them and dismissed the case because they got a chance to see the footage. And you can see from the footage that no matter how we feel about it emotionally, they were, I mean, you're asking this girl, is she gonna drag you? What is she gonna do? Drag you? You're challenging her, and she doesn't have a way of word with words like you do. So she tried to drag you, and it wasn't the right way to handle it, but it was the way that she handled it at that point. So it sucks, but the judge threw it out. Monique wrote a diss track called Drag Queens. And, you know, she also published a potty mouth book. And so that's where the season finale ended. We get to see the reunion where it's supposed to be a whole bunch of mess. Monique brings a book with a bunch of stuff in it. I don't know. It's just absolutely crazy. But that's all I got for you guys. Thanks for watching my first live video. I'll probably do a few more of these as I can. They do seem to save a little time. So I will kind of do these every once in a while. And you guys have a wonderful rest of your week. It's just Monday. So hopefully the rest of your week goes great. And I will see you guys Friday for another episode of Love After Lockup. Peace.